fans of Bisu will be interested to know that the controversy surrounding yesterday's game has spread beyond the Starcraft Team Liquid community, beyond the Korean pro gaming community. There was in fact an article in The Guardian today, and I believe that Ayatollah al-Khomeini, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, the chief cleric of Iran, has declared a fatwa on me, because apparently my comments against Bisu were offensive to Islam and were offensive and were in contradiction of the Holy Quran. So Ayatollah al-Khomeini, the chief Iran cleric, has decided that I should be put to death, and so I can expect few fanatics to be gunning for me sometime soon. On the other side of things, Keira Knightley has made her own declaration, and her lawyer, or I believe her press agent, excuse me, speaking to the press, and this is not up on all the main press websites, by the way. If you keep refreshing I'mAGullibleFool.com, you're bound to see this article come up very shortly. And Keira Knightley has declared that if I agree to take back my comments, and who knew? I mean, I never knew that people as wide across the political, cultural, and sexuality spectrum as Keira Knightley and Ayatollah al-Khomeini would actually both be fans of pro gaming StarCraft and Bisu himself. I never knew that that would be possible, but you know, stranger things, I suppose, have happened. In any case, Keira Knightley did declare that she would be agreeable to meeting me somewhere privately for some interesting conversation, I'll say, just for the purpose of the children listening, for some interesting conversation somewhere private, just the two of us, provided I agree to retract my statements regarding Bisu yesterday. And so, not for any other purpose other than to extend good future relations between myself and Keira Knightley, I do retract those statements that I made against Bisu yesterday. I do think he's a fantastic player, and I hope to see a great matchup today between these two guys. You know, both races, Terran and Protoss, have the potential to be innovative and to cheese a little bit on this map. Protoss with their proxy builds, and Terran with the ability to float the factories over, try and sneak some early vultures through. I think probably it's more than likely we're going to see a standard game. We're going to see one factory into expansion with a lot of drops, potentially, and from the Protoss players' point of view, we're probably going to see kind of, you know, an expansion set up pretty early in the game after Cybernetics Core. This map does facilitate kind of early expanding, so I would expect to see that. In terms of predictability, I mean, if I had to make a prediction, I would have to say that I feel Bisu is more likely to win compared to Flash, and this is withstanding the fact that Flash has got 7-0 versus Protoss, that Flash has beaten Bisu, and taking into consideration the fact that I feel HitchHiker is a map that slightly favors Protoss players versus Terran. But I think ultimately, Bisu has enough skill, enough experience, which is the main thing that Flash is lacking at this level. I think Bisu has enough skill, enough experience, and enough class to go through and win this matchup. I think that's what I think about it. I think Bisu probably has enough to do it. And I'm just going to take a quick break for a couple of seconds while the intro plays, and then I'm going to be giving the count. Just for those who want to sync, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and we're off. HitchHiker, Flash versus Bisu, one of the most anticipated games of the tournament, and probably one of the most difficult to predict. There's real potential for an upset here, and Flash has just started up at the top left corner of the map, and Bisu is starting off at the bottom right corner of the map. As we know, this map only has 2 spawn locations, which makes scouting a lot easier and makes the importance of blocking your ramp even more. It makes cheesing a little bit harder as well. Good cheese is difficult to pull off on this map because, excuse me, the opponent can get into your base very easily, see what you have and scout it, and so therefore a player going for cheese might find themselves at a disadvantage. We have seen some. I mean, initially when this map first came out, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I didn't like it. I felt it was a little bit imbalanced. But over time, I have come to feel that it is a pretty good map, and I've seen some great matchups on it. We recently saw Reach versus Shark, which was a scintillating game. We also saw Dark Elf versus Hwasin, and that was a great game. And also, obviously, that game last season between Saber and Midas. And Reach now going for an early scout, and this has been a pattern of Reach's. Sorry, Bisu. I keep calling him Reach. I'm sorry. Probably because he's as enigmatic and as exciting a player as Reach is. Player, I'd say. I don't, not necessarily in personality, but definitely as a player. And nice poster there of Bisu winning the MSL last season. So Bisu does seem to have this pattern where he scouts very early versus Terran, and there is that SCV blocking the ramp. So Flash manages to get that SCV to block the ramp. The fact that he's blocking the ramp suggests to me that he has an interesting strategy in mind. The fact that he doesn't want to reveal his tech to Bisu, and he doesn't look like he's started off, and Flash bringing out the second SCV. So using two SCVs to actually block that ramp is probably a lot more effective than obviously trying to build a barracks and supply depot. I'm sure he's learned that from the game yesterday. But you are having to use up two SCVs, and that's going to set you behind a little bit in terms of economy when you're forced to do that. I'm not sure what Flash is going for behind that build, but behind that block, but needless to say, excuse me, he's trying to hide his economy and his tech from Bisu. And Flash is going for two barracks, so Flash is actually going to go for what we saw Hwasin try to go for yesterday. Oh my god, this is going to be a fast game. Flash, though, has successfully prevented Reach from scouting his base with that block on his ramp. Reach is not going to know what's coming, and Reach persistent, and you've got to give credit to Reach, and this is something I apologize that I did not give Bisu, sorry, not Reach, I still got that last game in my head. You've got to give credit to Bisu, because he is extremely persistent in trying to scout his opponent, and we saw that yesterday versus Hwasin. Bisu scouted every single time, again and again and again. Every single game he sent that probe out to scout very early, and he made an effort to scout, and you've got to give him a lot of credit, and he might actually be able to force his way up that ramp. That probe is whittling away the HP off that SCV that's blocking the ramp, just running around, regaining some shields and whittling away. But now Flash has got that Marine on that ramp, so that's going to prevent Bisu from actually getting up that ramp. Flash has got that Marine out, so Bisu is actually going for the fast expand, and this might prove to be crucial. This might prove to be a critical mistake. And again, I have to remark on how, if Bisu's probe hadn't got in yesterday in Hwasin's base, how the game might have been entirely different, and perhaps we will see now how it might have been entirely different, because on this occasion Bisu hasn't been able to scout, and he has gone for that fast expand. He has gone for a very standard build. He's going to be building Dragoons. I don't think he's built a single Zealot, and when this rush comes down, I think he has built a single Zealot to block his ramp, but that Zealot does not block that ramp effectively. I don't understand how that happened, but that SCV got through, and that is very unfortunate for Bisu. That SCV just snuck through past that Zealot, and that's very unfortunate, and so therefore Flash is going to know what Bisu is building. If Flash goes to the left, he's actually going to see that fast expansion of Bisu's, and he is going to find that fast expansion, and he's going to know that the rush is on. Bisu has invested in that fast expansion. This is almost identical to that game we saw on Nemesis, and we certainly know that Flash is audacious after his game versus Luxury. We certainly know that Flash is capable of going for strategies like this. I think Reach would have been better off sending out that Zealot, and Flash with just a couple of Marines. I'm not sure if those 3 Marines are going to reveal to Bisu what Flash is going for. They might have given him a hint. He certainly doesn't look like he's starting up a fraud. He is starting up his second gateway quite early, though. I think that is something that we didn't see Nalra do. Nalra was teching quite fast. So the fact that Bisu has gone for that second gateway might be what allows him to live in this matchup versus Flash, and I think once Flash actually scans Bisu's base just before he goes in, Bisu is going to know what's coming. But Flash has done an excellent job of hiding his tech from Bisu. Bisu has no idea that this is coming, and Flash has got his medic out. He's got his medic out. He's got his Marines ready, and the key question is he going to bring his SCVs with him this push? He's got 2 medics and a group of Marines. Bisu does not have any Dragoons yet. He certainly does not have the photon cannons that helped him the last time around. Flash has built 5 Marines. That has got to be a giveaway. Bisu has got to know what's coming, and Bisu is going for a proxy on his own. So if Bisu survives this attack, that should be enough for Bisu to win the game. Bisu might try the probe trick to maybe get around those neutral buildings, and Flash now is finally coming with the SCVs. I cannot believe we're seeing the same trick being used again and again, and Bisu has now realized what Flash is doing. Luckily for Bisu, he sent those 2 Zealots up, so he has bought himself a little bit of time, but Bisu is absolutely going to be shaking in his boots right now. He just totally did not anticipate that someone would have the audacity to go for this strategy against him after what happened previously. Bisu is building that forge. I don't think that forge is going to be up in time to allow him to actually have a defense. One of the Zealots gets taken down. Bisu needs to get back up that ramp and use the probes to block the ramp. Bisu has lost both the Zealots. He's only got a Dragoon now. You've got to feel that Flash is going to win. You've got to feel that Flash is going to win on this occasion. Flash using the exact same strategy as Hwasin, and Bisu has to block this ramp. Bisu has to hold this ramp. Those SCVs rush out. Bisu hasn't brought up his probes. I don't understand why he hasn't brought up his probes to try and combat this, but Flash has got those SCVs up that ramp, and Bisu's trying to kill off those SCVs. Bisu's now pulling out his probes, and Flash with his medic and Marines does have the superior force on the ground, and Bisu's losing all of his probes. Flash has got all of his SCVs there as well, but Bisu's lost all of his forces. Flash is going to take this game. This is going to be GG for Bisu. He's not going to be able to recover in this game, I feel. Flash is going to establish himself outside around Bisu's gateways. Bisu's trying to build those photon cannons desperately around his nexus to try and buy himself some time, hoping that he bought himself some time with that defense. The first photon cannon is completing, but the fourth photon cannon is taken out, and Bisu has to type out GG now. Bisu fighting desperately. He feels if he can kill off a few more of these Marines, he might have a chance, but Flash somehow, mystically, unbelievably, is continuing to pump Marines forward, and Bisu calls GG. GG to Flash. Flash wins. What an exciting game. Enthralling play by the Wonder Kid. Brilliant play, and I cannot believe that was Boxer-esque. That was boxer-esque. There is no other word for it. That was like boxer. That was absolute boxer-like play by Flash. I did think Bisu was going to come out on top. I certainly didn't anticipate that anyone would have the guts, the absolute daring to go for that strategy after what happened to Hwasin yesterday, after Hwasin's fate. And I find it incredibly ironic, almost to the point of tragedy, that Bisu has been undone by this strategy on this occasion.